them first how it works. So a solid arm is a yes, and a let go, so just let it drop, is a no. And do it about 3 times. So solid is yes, let go is no. Solid is yes, let go is no. Finger position is 2 fingers flat on their wrist, and they're going to hold strong. And so what you're going to ask them to do is show me a yes, and you're going to give 2 fingers, 2 inches. So the movement is very little. It isn't like I'm trying to push her arm right down. It's just a real little push. And for 2 seconds. So show me a yes, show me a no. Okay. Now some people's arms, their yes is like this and their no might just be like this. Some people's arm drops. You can let go for a sec. It isn't the fact that they're trying to be really strong, because some men too don't want to be weak, so weak and strong sometimes are not the right words. You want to use the words maybe just hold, and because what we're looking for is a difference. We're just training the body as a yes and a no, because that's all I care about is the yes and the no. If a person isn't balanced and they're just, they can't move anyway, it doesn't matter what question they are, have them maybe zip up 3 times. It's just called zipping up. It's the central meridian, which goes from the base or base chakra or perineum all the way up to the bottom lip. And so they're coming towards the body, they're following the meridian up, and it's 3 times up. And the body kind of comes away a bit to the hand, away a bit, so that you're not actually unzipping, because you really do want it zipped up. Have them take a deep breath, and then ask, am I on? And if the body says yes, they're fine. If the body doesn't answer yet, you can try the water. Possibly they have to go to the washroom, because of course if their bladder is holding, so body pendulum, and you can zoom in or come around too if you want to Christine, is where you tell the body to answer yes, no. So we're not going to use the arm now. This is for the client to be able to do this themselves, and they can actually do this at home, right? So what the point is that you're standing with your feet kind of normal distance apart. There's no big huge distance or anything, and from the ankles we're kind of a solid board. So we really want to pivot from the ankles. And now again we're going to program the mind. So we're going to tell the mind to forward is a yes without falling, and we move from the ankles so that the rest of the body is all straight. Backwards without falling is a no. So forward yes, backwards no. Forward yes, backwards no. So with this one now, what you're going to do is you can ask the body questions. And so with it, I could say, is my name, we both do it, is my name Connie? And then let the knees just kind of go a little bit, not loose, you don't want them to undo, but you don't want them tight either. So you just want to let the knees go, and then allow the body to answer. And so whatever direction it goes. If the body, let's say my name really is Connie, which it is, but let's say the body went backwards. Because what if my name was Constance? That was my birth name. It isn't, but let's say it was. And so my body goes no on Connie, but it would go yes on Constance. So sometimes a nickname doesn't count, that it actually has to be the real name. It starts moving side to side. A lot of times that can be, I don't know, need a better question. Or if the body just stands still, again, it might not be able to answer, so the question might not be appropriate or literal enough for the mind to actually make a decision. And you have to remember, it's only a yes or a no answer. The body can't answer you, big long sentences over it. All right. So some of the best ways to do this now is vibration. The vibration, and I'm getting into vibration. If you take metal, right, so something that's metal, that the atoms of the metal are extremely close together and they barely move. They're very slow, so it makes it solid. When you have, like oxygen, the molecules are further apart and they're very fast. And they actually say that under a microscope, our cells don't even touch, they vibrate. And so everything has a vibration. It wouldn't matter what it is, real or not, like if it's wood or if it's rocks or anything. It has vibration. So vitamins have extremely high vibration, and one of the best ways to start checking and practicing so that your body can start answering is taking hold of something. You don't have to know even what's in it, and then just asking your body, do I need this today? And allow the body to answer. And then take a different one and same thing. Does my body need this today? And it doesn't. Does my body need this today? Yes, it does. Bingo. Okay. So, interestingly enough, about with vitamins, if you really think about vitamins, oh, this one, chromium, I need chromium too. You know, on a package it says 1 capsule daily with a meal. Some don't even say with a meal, right? They just say 1 tablet daily. This one does 2 with a meal. Every one of them is different of the rules of it. Take 3 capsules per day. What I always find interesting about vitamins is on a person's weight. So you're telling me that, okay, 1 capsule a day, that a person who weighs 100, let's say, pounds or whatever that is anyways, I don't even know what the word is now for the other weight, but anyways, kilograms, thanks, is so a person who's 100 pounds and then a person who's 300 pounds or 250 pounds, so, or whatever, 200 pounds, have to take the same amount? Like, it just doesn't make any logic to me. And then, you know, like in our cabinet, I have probably 20 different types of vitamins, supplements, minerals, whatever. And I'm supposed to take everything daily. So that one of the nice things to do is to check with your muscle testing which ones every day that you're supposed to take, because you'll find it's different every day, like extremely different every day. And you're going to hold superficial and then also deep. Deep, so you're pushing in. Superficial is just where you're touching them. What you're sensing is the heartbeat. So superficial, you're waiting to find out where their heartbeat is, and if you can feel the pulse. You can do each individual finger, 3 or just 1 at a time, and you're waiting. Now deep, you push in, if you don't notice a pulse, that is fine. What you're really looking for is all of the different types of pulses, and that could take years to develop. So with it right now, if you do notice a pulse, notice which finger it is. And each finger, if this is the right hand, what you have is superficial, so very lightly. This one here will be the liver meridian, stomach meridian, and triple warmer or Sangio. Deep would be lung, spleen, pericardium or circulation sacs. And then what you're waiting for is to see if there's a pulse. So right at the moment I'm feeling a pulse deep, so that would be spleen meridian. And what I would do is mark that down on their chart. So on the left hand, same movement. Superficial is small intestine, gallbladder, and bladder. Deep is heart, liver, and kidney. And so you're just now again checking to see where the pulse is. So superficial is very lightly on them, deep is in, and you can go individually, superficial or deep, superficial or deep, superficial or deep, to send, if you feel a pulse, where it would be on the arm. Once you have their pulse, it takes years and years to find out if it's what speed it is, strength it is, shape it is, and rhythm. You need hundreds of people to be able to tell the difference between. All that we care about right at the moment is what organ meridian the pulse is in, because that will also tell you which meridian to work on when you're actually going to be doing the balancing of the body. You see the lung, and it goes from 1 coming up, like just above the shoulder, all the way down to the thumb, 11. What happens is if you actually go in, you're going to feel a little soft spot, and then a little bit further up at lung 2, you'll feel another one. But if you actually go in between, There isn't one in between. So the tsubu is the little indentation. And you can have it kyo or jitsu. And kyo is where it's hollow, so it actually indents into the skin. And jitsu is going to feel like it's poofy. Okay? So with it, when you're finding the tsubus, and there's a whole bunch of them going down the arm, and you'll see each one of them is these little dots as it follows down, and they're numbered. And so you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and you'll find them. So what you're going to do is you just go to check each point. So if I'm going to hold lung 11, I'm going to just kind of put my finger just onto the point, and you'll feel the indentation. There's actually a real indentation. And as you come up, and if I'm coming up to lung 10, again, there's an indentation. When you have the point with the tsubu, and if it's a kyo, so if it's sunken in and hollow, then what you'll do is you can activate it in either, people go with a clock, so either you're going like around the clock and clockwise, or if it's jitsu and it's poofy, you actually want to activate it as counterclockwise, meaning you just lightly rub it backwards. So kyo, if it's sunken in and it's hollow, now there's a balance too. If it's balanced, you don't do anything with it. But if it's hollow, you clockwise in. If it's jitsu, meaning it's activated and it's swollen, then you counterclockwise that point. And usually what you do is if there is pain, you lightly do it, and then as the pain disappears, then you can go in just a little bit deeper, and then you can move up to the next one and check out the next point to see if it's fine too. But right now, just check to see which, that you're finding any points. And if it's easier to use, the liver meridian or a totally different meridian, just keep checking, because again, especially when you get into, if you're, getting into table shiatsu, you're going to be using each one of them, and you'll be finding the different points. And after a while, your fingers just go to them because they're like magnets. Some people do call the tsubu chakras, so that every point and every single one of these points, wherever they are on the body, are also where an acupuncturist would put a needle. They're the same spots. They're exactly the same spots of where an acupuncturist would put the needle, or an acupressurist would activate the spot with their finger. One technique that I do teach my clients, because it will give them a way to balance the body, it's a muscle testing quick fix. And what you'll find is on the pictures, it has all the different little lymphatic points. These aren't acupressure points, these are lymphatic points. Similar kind of idea though. And you're going to have the client activate them. So you'll see the two little red dots on your picture, but there's two dots, and it's kind of underneath the collarbone, and with the sternum, it's on either side. Some people's might be here, some might be a little lower, and it's just, again, two little indentations, and it's a light push. It's not like you're going right in, it's just a light push. Direction, not as important. Next one is up and down, so you're doing actually all those 6 dots. Either side. All you're doing is you're telling the body to turn back on, to balance back out. That's all we're doing. We're activating the body. Underneath the breastbone, rib cage down, either side of the belly button, across the pubic bone, either side of the hips down, and you want to go down because it has been known to constipate people if you go up. Inside also. Okay, the back of the body, just where the head sits, and just activates those. You'll feel 2 little indentations. Coming down either side of the hips, and I usually go back up. And the last one, it's little X's on the picture, but you're just doing these little pinches going up. You can do it down too, it wouldn't matter. About 3 times on either side. Okay, so those are the movements of each one of those, and they are on the picture. What normally happens is before we even do those, I would ask a client if they have pain or if they have issues of where it is in their body and put a number to it. So if they had a pain in their head, or they had a pain in their shoulder, or the pain in their knee, whatever, and they would put a scale of 1 to 10. So if the head, let's say, was a 3, the shoulder is an 8, meaning that it hurts really badly, then I'd have them sense all the different pain, if there's more than one in their body, and then we would do this quick fix and do all the points, have them take a deep breath, and then go retest each one. Say, okay, what number now is your head? Is it still a 3? Is it, is it still an 8? Whatever. If it comes down, a lot of times they'll be down to 0. It just totally disappears. If it isn't gone, I usually do it one more time and do the whole thing. The back, if somebody else can't, if they can't reach their back, take a corner of the wall and then just rub the wall, and it helps. Or have some meridian. All you need to do, in this case we're doing lung meridian on the right side of the body. Lung 1, you start at always the number 1 of any meridian, and in this case Alicia will show you how it goes. Lung 1 up to 2, coming down the body through all the lung Tsubu points all the way down, and then coming off on lung 11 off the thumb, and you run that 3 times. So that'll be 1, 2, and 3. Each meridian, if you're going to run the meridian, it wouldn't matter which meridian that it is or which side of the body. Most people do both sides of the body when they go to balance the body with running a meridian. So each meridian would be done exactly the same way. You start at 1 and finish at the last number of that meridian. This is something that you can either have the client do themselves and run the meridian, or you can run the meridians for them. When you do meridian walking, you would start at the first point. So if we're doing the lung meridian and we're going to walk this meridian, my finger will go on lung 1 and lung 11. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold until I can feel a heartbeat in either. And the first one that has the heartbeat, then I will move up to the next chakra point or Tsubu. And I'm going to hold again until I feel the heartbeat again, and move up. And it's the first finger that I can feel the heartbeat in. And the object is to come to one point. And again, you're just following their heartbeat in your finger. And then you just hold. And that is meridian walking. And it's where you're going from the start of the meridian, the end of the meridian, and you're coming to wherever it is. If it finishes here, if it finishes on this one, it doesn't matter. Even if it finishes both on this one, it doesn't matter where it finishes. You're just feeling the heartbeat and moving your fingers until you find one common one. And that Tsubu is what is activating that meridian to be off. And once you're done, you can have the client just take a deep breath, just wiggle their fingers, and you're done. If you'd like, you can always do the other side too. If it's the lung meridian that's off, you can also do the left. If a person, let's just pretend So with it, if let's say it's your neck, and your neck, you know, we did all the quick fixes and it didn't work, but the neck is still sore. If you imagine the muscle, so the muscles coming up and down, they can come across a little bit too. What we want to do is between insertion and origin is we want to tell it to be quiet. So just kind of consider it's quiet. We want the muscle to relax, so we want it to be quiet. So our fingers are actually going in a zoop kind of thing. If I wanted to strengthen it, I'd actually do it the opposite way, so together and out to strengthen the muscle. So if I had a very weak arm and I wanted this muscle to strengthen, I would actually go around the belly of the muscle and tell it to strengthen. If it was hurting me and it was sore, I'm telling it to be quiet. So then I can take the muscle, come around the person, and then ask them, okay, take a breath, sense that. If it's their arm, let's say, the muscle coming down, there's muscles coming back here, I might have to do a few muscles. Same with the arm, and then it would, you know, ask them how it is. If it's the knee, it might be this muscle, or it might be the calf muscle, it might be the ones around the knee. Best thing to do is have a really good muscle picture so that you actually can see which way, the direction of the fibers, and know where the belly of the muscle is, and then you're just going to go right in the middle of it. If it was my finger, I just want to go in the middle of it. Each muscle's a little different, so you just go in the middle. To have a sore back, and with that one, to explain it again, is that the muscles of the shoulders, if my shoulders are really tense, they could be pulling all my muscles up, which pulls my back out, which gives me a sore back. Or the muscles going down in the glutes and the backside, if they are tense and they're pulling me down, it could be then that these muscles are it. So I'm either going to need to activate my shoulders to relax, or across your buttocks for the muscles to relax here, and then to see if the muscles here go away. Now, what I might have to do, because the opposite to my back is my stomach, and if my stomach is weak and out, so it can't hold me, instead of telling it to be quiet, I need to strengthen my stomach muscles, so I'm going to do the opposite. Tell them to strengthen, right? So I'm going to tell these to strengthen, but I'm going to tell these to be quiet. So I'm going to loosen these off, and I'm going to strengthen this one to bring the back back. Now, if it's the neck, to strengthen it, I probably wouldn't want to. Where if we're looking, okay, on the shoulders, if it's up higher, what I want to do is probably just relax those shoulders to come down. And the neck to relax. And then just take a deep breath. Now, what number is it? So it's down to a 1. I wonder if it's the chin. Take a deep breath. Anything there? 0.5%, so we're getting there. Okay, the only thing this cannot help is if a bone is out. So if a person can't come down to 0, it is a possibility that they need to go for a chiropractic adjustment or something and have the spine back to realign, because all this can help is muscles. It can't put bones back in. So with it, if you do find a client that, you know, they're down to a 2 maybe, and that's all they can get to, suggest for them to go maybe to a chiropractor or something. I had a gentleman once that he couldn't grip his hands, like he was having a hard time, you know, like if a screwdriver or anything, he couldn't grip it. And so I tried, you know, we tried to work with a few different things, and it wasn't helping. Suggested for him to go to a chiropractor. Chiropractor realigned him. Actually, no problems after that. So not always is it us that, you know, can fix them, but even suggesting where they can go